Yes, I would like to introduce you Nan who is very intelligent, uh, Liên Nguyên, and mindfulness will come. Miss Yu Jack, who has a very gifted language, and Tĩnh Như, Nên Ven Tĩnh Như is very good speaker, and the only late woman in my group with the beautiful and intelligent Tuệ Hoa, right? And we have got non-vent Liên Thật, who is very have he has the whisp voice and energy Trung Ý. Now we are now you see above they are right speaker who will bring you a perfect words Buddha. And now let's hear what we have to say. We'd like to invite the presenter Nhân viên Liên Nguyên Let's Action.
Yes, thank you a lot, Venerable Daifang. Good evening, own Venerable and Dharma brother and sister. My Dharma name is Nhiên Nguyen. I am happy to now. Now I would like to share about the green Siddhartha birds and the deep teaching of the dependent. Slide, please. Long ago, the great Brahmas from the five pure abode descended to earth and declared that in 100 years a Buddha would be born. They encouraged being to keep precept and practice meditation to be worthy of seeing him. Tambras, then the devas observers find signs of the light in Sadhu Siddha who was a Bodhisattva. The divine followers in his body withered, his glow faded, his breath from his armpits, his complexion darkened, and he no longer found joy in his seat. That sight meant he was ready to leave the heaven realm. Other devas gathered and invited him to reborn in the human world. Before descending, the Bodhisattva carefully considered five great factors: time, continent, country, family, and mother. The time must be suitable for people to attain enlightenment. The content must be Jambudipa. The country should be the central region of India. The family must be royal or Brahmin. The mother must be a virtuous woman. Having found on condition perfect, the Bodhisattva accept and prepare for rebirth. Over 2,500 years ago, Sadas were a brown clan of the Khatija, the warrior caste, living on the foothill of Himalaya in modern Nepal. They were ruled by a wise and powerful king called Suddhodana, who found his capital at Kapilavatthu. His wife was Queen Mada, daughter of Konasas. So far they were childless and were longing for a son to complete their royal happiness. The legend goes that one night Queen Mada had a divine dream while sleeping. In his in her dreams, saw a bright sign of light descending from heaven toward her. Within this light was the image of a magnificent elephant. The elephant wore white and had six tusk. It was white as the snow on a mountain top and were holding another flowers. The elephant blew in charge as it were walking round her bed 3 times and entered her side. Queen Martha woke up with a big joy that she had never felt before. She immediately informed King Sudarana about dream, and they both saw the wisdom of Nor H. April, cultural minister of business meaning. They said, the queen will soon give birth to a child, and this prince will become a superhuman being. The king and queen were very happy with this news. One day, the queen realized that she would become a mother. According to their custom, she asked the king permission to return her parents home in another city, Devadaha, for the childbirth. Midway, the queen decided to rest for a while in Lumbini Park, a wonderful garden where flowers fill the air with their sweet odor, while swarms of bees and butterflies were flying around, and birds of every color were singing as if they were getting ready to welcome the queen. As she was standing under flowering solitary and clutching hold of a branch in full bloom, she gave a birth to a breeze. When the Buddha was born, he took seven steps, each step forming another flowers. One right, one hand to the sky and other to the earth, declaring, in the earth, in the heaven and the earth, alone am a most honest. On a breast that delight to queen and her noble baby prince, heaven and earth destroy the marvels. The memorable days was the fourth day of Vesak. In 623 BC, according to inscription of the Buddha Gaza. Thank you everyone for listening. We can together see a little short video when
Yeah, it is interesting movie,
during
right?
the step. Yeah. This video was short. This side of my presentation. Thank you everyone for listening. Now I would like to welcome presents the prophecy of Jade, Pasida, and childhood of, and I would like to venerable welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Venerable Liên, for your speech. Good evening, everyone. Have a happy time. My name is Nguyệt Khong. Tonight, I would like to share with you the early life of Prince Siddhartha, a life filled with prophecy, wisdom, and compassion. The first, Asista's prophecy. A great sage named Asita, also known as Kaladevara, visited the palace upon hearing the prince's birth. When the baby was brought to him, something extraordinary happened. The child feet rest on the sage's matted head. A sister stood up in the reverence and using his supernormal vision foresaw the child's future. He would one day become a fully enlightened Buddha. Asita smiled with joy, but then become sad because he knew he would be reborn in the formless realm Arupaloka and meet the Buddha teachings. He said, I smile because the prince will one day become a fully enlightened Buddha, but I grace because I will not flee to benefit from his supreme wisdom. The second, the king's Siddhartha's reaction. Upon hearing these prophecies, the king Suddhodana felt proud and deeply concerned. He thought to himself, if my son become a Buddha, he will lift the police and renounce the world. So, from that day on, he served the prince with luxury, pleasures, and completely saved him from all suffering. Third, childhood wisdom and compassion. Even as a young boy, the prince showed profound wisdom during a royal Flockring Festival, while others were celebrating the princess calmly under a raw apple tree. He observed the flock during the earth, but eating warm, and saw the suffering of living beings. Moved with deep compassion, he meditated. At that moment, he entered the first jhana, a state of meditate of certain filled with joy and solution. This revealed his deep wisdom even at such a tender age. When the king found his son in deep meditation, he bowed and said, Dear child, this is my second solution to you. This story from the Buddha's early life teaches us about innate compassion, spiritual potential, and the importance of insight even from the young age. Thank you for your listening. Now, I would like to invite non-venerable Yak will speak about explore the print education and coming of age. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Nandan. Welcome. Good day, everyone. Now I'm going to talk about the education of Prince Siddhartha, who later became the Buddha. When the Prince Siddhartha was about 8 years old, his father, King Suddhodana, decided it was time for him to begin formal education. The king wanted Siddhartha to learn everything necessary to become a warrior king. He was sent to a teacher named Savamitra, also known as Vishwamitra. This teacher was highly respected and skilled in both the science of Vedas and military arts. Prince Siddhartha studied a wide range of academic subjects, reading and writing, history, mathematics, geography, science. Besides academic study, he also learned games and martial skills such as archery. Next slide. Archery, skill of shooting arrows, horse riding, learning control, and ride horse. Both fighting, boxing, and wrestling. He was especially good at all this and even practiced jumping horses across the rivers. Prince Siddhartha was not only intelligent but also kind, respectful, and humble. He always respected his teacher, was obedient, and never lazy. He was kind to animals and never hurt them. Because of his gentle nature and bright mind, everyone loved him. After finishing his studies, the teacher told King Suddhodana that your son has learned everything I have taught. He is brilliant and skillful in all activities. King was very pleased and regarded his Siddhartha with a beautiful white horse named Kantaka. This horse later became his companion on many important journeys. Dear friends, there are many valuable lessons we can learn from this story. Just study your subject well, learn skill, not just schoolwork. Be obedient, respect for your teachers, and be kind to animals. Never be lazy, always try your best in all areas, just like Prince Siddhartha. So today we have learned how Prince Siddhartha became not only wise and skilled, but also humble and kind. Let's try to follow his example and become well-rounded, respectful, and good-hearted students. Thank you very much for your listening and have a happy night. Next, I would like to invite Nan Van Tình Như to present her section.
Good evening, everyone. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Thank you, Nan Thuyilya, for your speech. This part, I'd like to share with you all about the Crown Prince Siddhartha adult life, his royal marriage, child, and luxurious lace life before renunciation. Slide 1, please. So this slide is about the Prince Siddhartha marriage. So when the prince was 16 years old, the king Suddhodana realized that his sons were becoming increasingly clumsy and unusual. So he was extremely worried that the crown prince would become a monk as one of the productions of the Sheikh Asita. So the king Suddhodana decided to marry a wife for the prince, who were a beautiful and virtuous princess named Yasodhara. Princess Yasodhara was a girl with perfect beauty, superior virtue, suitable and worthy of Prince Siddhartha. Both Prince Siddhartha and the Princess Yasodhara were 16 years old of age and were the first cousins. They lived a peaceful and happy life in the royal palace for nearly 13 years old. It was a respectful and amicable marriage until the Prince Siddhartha's departure from the palace to seek enlightenment. Then the Princess Yasodhara, deeply affected, overcome with grief, and follow a path of simplicity and devotion, emulating her husband's path by wearing simple robe and fasting. She followed the news of her husband's actions closely. Next slide, please. Prince Siddhartha's sons. He has only one biological son named Rahula with his wife, Princess Yasodhara, at the age of 29. Rahula was born before and near to the day Siddhartha renounced his royal and had been a key factor motivating Prince Siddhartha's decision to leave the palace and seek for deeper truth of existence. The young Rahula lived with his mom in palace until he saw the Buddha, which is his father returned to his hometown. Rahula was 7 years old and came to his father requesting for his inheritance. Without worthy possessions and after observations and recognition, the Lord Buddha decided that Rahula would inherit his enlightenment and knowledge of life and Dharma. He had Rahula ordained as a novice monk by Sariputta, one of his chief disciples, at the age of 7. After joining the order, Rahula received no favoritism from the Lord Buddha, faced challenges, occasionally touched by the Buddha on the topic like the consequences of lies, the importance of mindfulness, how to meditate, and non-self. Rahula became a dedicated and enthusiastic student of the Buddha. He is often depicted as one of the foremost disciples and were always eager to learn. He is also known as the role in spreading Buddhist teaching to both monastic and lay communities. Rahula was a son and great disciple of Lord Buddha. He attained enlightenment at the age of 18 before his death in young age. Slide 3, please. This slide is about the Prince Siddhartha life before renunciations. So as you all heard already from previous slides, the King Siddhartha remembered the old prophecy from the Brahmins, had secretly steered his son in directions of the throne, shield the crown prince from any religious teachings, and from knowledge of human hardship and sufferings. The prince will grow up in an extreme, luxurious environment and live in lavish place of pleasure and luxury. The king of Sakya commanded his court to build 3 magnificent palaces for the prince. Each palace was designed to suit the change in weather all year round. One for the cold season, one for hot, and one for rainy seasons. There are no need for the prince to leave the palace during those seasons. Also, the king will accommodate with all manner of luxurious food and clothes, the most skilled entertainment, singer and dancing from female musicians. The prince was surrounded by youth, beauty, pleasure, and wealth. Night and day, under the wide parasol held over the prince, protected him from heat, cold, dust, leaf, and dew, etc. The prince was raised in the utmost indulgence and blissful ignorance. Next slide, please. This is about Siddhartha's deep thought. So in his childhood, there were a very remarkable incident what happened, an unprecedented spiritual experience served as a key to his spiritual experience later. When the Prince Siddhartha found his own peace and joy in meditation, crossing his leg and practicing our intended concentrations on breath, inhale and exhale. While the king and everyone else participate and enjoy themselves as the ploughing festival. He was a pensive and contemplative nature, a boundless, compassionate child, young in years, but old in wisdom. As the prince will contemplate nature grow older, his mind become more contemplative and calm. He often seemed to be thinking further and further away. He became more gloomy and strange. Despite having a life full of comfort and pleasure, the prince still found his heart full of question and wondering. He realized the universality of sorrow, felt emptiness, deep pity for suffering humanity, the need to find a way out, to live a more honest, peaceful, and meaningful life. So next speaker, please listen to the lay Gunin Tehua about the 4 sides. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, nhân van tình như. Good evening, Venerable and Dharma friend. My name is Tuệ Hoa. Welcome to my presentation for science. Next slide, please. One nice day, Prince Siddhartha climbed out the palace to see the world outside. Inside the royal palace, he only saw the pleasant and beautiful side of life. It was only upon entering the outside world that he came to realize the true nature of world suffering. The first, he saw an old man with green skin and a bent back. The second, he saw a sick person suffering in pain. The third, he saw a corpse with the family grieving in sorrow and loss. The fourth, he saw a cave and defied ascetic. The first three signs convincingly brought to him the universal element of humanity. The fourth signation, the means to overcome the ill of life, to attain calm and peace. The four unexpected signs serve to increase the urge to him to love and renounce the world. Reconciling the world needs it, a sensual pleasure, so highly prized to the worldling and appreciating the value of renunciation, in which why seek delight. He decided to leave the world in search of a true and internal peace. This part reminds me to verse from Dhammapala. Ere long, alas, this body will lie upon the earth, unheated and lifeless, like unsolid law. Dhamma 41. Few among men are those who cross the farther shore. The rest, the bulk of men, only run up and down the high bank. Dhammapala 85. Through the story of the Buddha and the Dhammapala verse mentioned above, I understand that since no one can escape birth, old age, illness, and death, I recognize that everything always changes. It always has certain in danger. We can't control them. The life is the suffering, impermanence, and non-self. So, what should we do? The Buddha taught us the direct path for the purification of being, for the disappearance of sorrow, and for the realization of unbinding. So we can practice and cultivate the path of Buddha immediately and honestly. Thank you for your attention. Have a good night. Now I invite non-venerable Liên presentation.
Thank you, Fly Woman Tuệ Hoa. Good evening, Venerable Man and Nun in my class. My name is Lincoln. Today, I would like to present a deeply emotional and meaningful story in the life of Prince Siddhartha. His inner struggle and decision to renounce the world, the turning point led to the emergence of an enlightened being, the Buddha Shakyamuni. Next slide, please. Inner conflict, duty, affection, aspiration, underborn into royally embraced illusory, Prince Datta did not fight to peace. Deep within his heart lay a profound conflict among the power forces. The first was his duty to kingdom and royal family, especially the high expectation from his father King Suddhodana. The second was his deep affection for his loved wife Prince Yasodhara and their young son Rahula. And third was his noble aspiration to discover a path that good and suffering, not only for himself but for all living beings. He focused to and Prince heart. On one side was personal happiness, on the other a sacred calling from within. Next slide, please. Different happiness then bring us again to see the true nature of worldly life. Impermanence, suffering, and the lack of anything too reliable through many long nights. The green quality completed. The truth thought he was surrounded by royal gardens, beautiful and tender, and soothing music. His heart remained heavy. He could not sleep. Deep rise of the night which seemed to remain him always sickness, and death await us all. A profound realization of human suffering gradually, the realization that nothing is permanent. No power, no wealth, no luxury, no riches, keep out anyone else from the law of birth, that being sickness and death. Even if he were to become ruler of the entire world, he could not change this reality. The human body impermanent. Nature depend his resolve to see a path that could change the endless cycle of suffering and rebirth. Next slide, please. Conclusion. Prince Datta renunciation was not an escape from life, it was an act of courage and a manifestation of a profound idea. His inner struggle is a vivid reminder that the journey toward enlightenment does not begin with comfort, but with a deep vision of oneself and the world. May it up us wherever we are and whatever we do. Learn to listen to the voice within and nature of neighbor purpose in life, just as the brain wanted. Thank you very much. I would like to invite Venerable Trung.
Yeah. Thank you, Venerable Lincoln. Continue our presentation. I'm honored to, sorry. I'm honored to present one of the most emotional and meaningful moments in the life of the Buddha. The night Prince Siddhartha left the palace to begin his spiritual journey. Immediately, in the full moon night, the palace is quiet. Prince Siddhartha stands at the door of his chamber, watching his wife Yasodhara and newborn son Rahula sleeping peacefully. His heart is full of love, yet also full of pain. He knows what he must do. He knows this goodbye must be silent, because if he wakes them up, look into their eyes, he may not have the strength to live. But deep in his heart, he believes true love is not holding on. True love is letting go for something greater. So, with his loyal companion, Jana and his hawk Katanka, he quietly left the palace. They ride far into the night, crossing forest and river. When they reach the Anoma River, the prince takes a sword, leave his hair and cut it off, symbolizing the end of his royal life. He removed his fine clothes, put on the robe of a monk, and sent Chana and Kataka back. At the moment, he is no longer a prince. He became A seeker, a man on a path to discover how to end suffering for all sentient beings. Let me ask you something. If you were him, would you be able to leave everything behind? Your family, your comfort, your future? For a prince that had no guarantee that the power of Vinata renunciation, it were a rejection of love, it were a deep faith, a presence of compassion beside the touch that could free not just himself, but everyone from birth, aging, sinners, and death. And so the journey began. He stepped out not just from the palace, but from the cycle of attachment, privilege, and illusion into the unknown. This single step became the beginning of a revolution in human consciousness, and years later, under the body tree, that seeks and gratifies with lump into enlightenment. Let me end with this third. That night, Siddhartha walked away from everything he loved, but in doing so, he saw a love that included all beings. And that's why we still remember that night not as a tragedy, but as the birth of the Buddha. Thank you very much, and I have a gift for all of you. This is the video of the free Siddhartha leave the palace to begin his spiritual journey. Let's watching together.
Sa nặc. Sa nặc, hãy thắng con ngựa kiền trắc đi theo ta.
Giờ này trời tối, nhân gian mờ mịt lắm. Thái tử định đi đâu?
Chính vì trời tối, vì nhân gian mờ mịt, nên ta phải đi tìm ánh sáng cho muôn loài.
Hai người cưỡi ngựa ra cổng thành, chợt ma vương hiện ra.
Này thái tử Tất Đạt Đa, chỉ còn 7 ngày nữa, ngài sẽ trở thành vua của đất nước Thích Ca, và 30 ngày nữa, ngài sẽ được tôn lên làm chuyển luân thánh vương, cai trị cả cõi đất này. Ngài đừng đi, hãy ở lại.
Ta biết điều đó, nhưng ta không màng. Ngươi đừng ngăn cản ta.
Niềm vinh quang thế gian không thể trói buộc được thái tử, khi mà tình thương người dành cho muôn loài là lớn hơn tất cả. Cả hai phi ngựa vượt qua cổng thành trong màn đêm tĩnh mịch, hướng về phía nam. Thái tử tiếp tục phi như bay, hết thảy cảnh vật như bỏ lại phía sau. Thái tử dừng lại bên bờ sông Anoma. Sa nặc biết giây phút đó cuối cùng cũng đã đến. Những giọt lệ bắt đầu xuất hiện trên khóe mắt của Sa nặc. Cả ngựa kiền trắc cũng khóc. Thái tử nhẹ nhàng bỏ vương miện xuống, xõa tóc, rồi rút thanh gươm báu ra. Sa nặc bàng hoàng không nói nên lời, muốn ngăn thái tử nhưng không dám, chỉ biết đứng nhìn mà lặng lẽ khóc. Từng lọn tóc của thái tử cứ trôi theo dòng nước. Mỗi lọn tóc trôi đi là mỗi lần Sa nặc nấc lên nghẹn ngào.
Sau khi cắt tóc xong, thái tử cởi bộ đồ vương giả, tháo hết trang sức và lấy tấm y cũ màu sẫm mặc vào người. Thái tử nhắn nhủ Sa nặc.
Sa nặc, ngươi hãy mang túi vải cùng lệnh bài tối mật này về trao cho công nương Gia Du Đà La. Ta từ đây xuất gia làm sa môn tu hành. Ngươi hãy nhắn lại với tất cả mọi người, nếu yêu thương ta thì không được ngăn cản chí nguyện của ta.
Sa nặc khóc nức nở, quỳ xuống lạy thái tử, rồi dắt hai con ngựa băng qua sông. Ngựa kiền trắc cứ ngoái lại nhìn thái tử, không muốn trở về. Đợi cho Sa Nặc đến bờ sông bên kia, thái tử mới quay lưng đi tiếp về phía nam. Bóng người oai vệ khuất xa dần, xa dần.
Năm 29 tuổi, Thái tử Tất Đạt Đa đã xuất gia tu hành. Người đã khước từ mọi vinh quang thế gian để đi tìm chân lý cao thượng. Gian nan có là chi khi niềm đau thương đang ngày đêm phủ văng khắp tinh cầu. Nguy hiểm có là chi khi mà nước mắt của chúng sinh còn nhiều hơn nước biển mênh mông, còn nhiều hơn trăm suối nghìn sông. Nỗi đau khổ là vô cùng không kể. Còn cúi xuống hiểu thế gian ảo mộng, lợi và danh cháy bỏng cả tâm hồn. Ai biết rằng nơi tịch cốc cô thôn, người ẩn sĩ vượt hơn điều nhỏ bé.
Yes, the story, the move, the video is to stop our presentation. My team, we didn't just share you the story, but during the teamwork, we also practiced mindfulness. We work together harmony and stay devoted to Dharma. We hope this presentation plan would sit in our hearts and encourage to us walk the path with more usefulness and understanding. Next. On behalf of our team, thank you for your listening with kind attention. We are truly grateful to our teacher and everyone who support us with patience and care. May Buddha light continue to inspire us, and may each of you find peace and purpose on our own path. Now it's time for Mr. Huang, who is very, very knowledge and handsome one, will guide this program. Miss Huang.
Thank you very much, Group 1, and thanks for your kind words, Venerable Thầy Phong. That concludes the full presentation from Group 1. Thank you all for your efforts and insights. Now, we'll move on to the next part of the session, questions and answers. We would very much like the other groups to ask questions for Group 1 first, followed by questions from the rest of today's participants.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I would like to send my congratulations to Group 3 on your successful presentation. I have one question for your group. What was the significance of Queen Maya dream involving the wild elephant, and how was it interpreted? That's it, my question.
It's a very interesting question, right? Now, anyone who can answer, my group?
Yes, Venerable, I can answer to the question.
Okay.
Yes, it's a good question. By my knowledge, I can share this answer. You asked what was the significance of Queen Mother dream? And master in the Buddhist tradition, Queen Mother dreamed of a white elephant entering her right side. It's a byproduct, even signifying the conception of the future Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama. The dream was interpreted as a sign that she were to give birth to a great being, either universal monarch of a Buddha. That's enough. That is all. Yeah.
Is it clear, Lê Nguyễn? The answer is okay to you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your answer.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next questions. Any question else?
Yes, good evening, Venerable and Dharma friends. Could you hear me?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep going.
Yeah. Thanks so much for your group topic today. Yeah, your team work well together with small transition between speakers. And I'm so impressed to the presentation of Lê Minh Tuệ Hóa. Yes, for the sharing with us the four sides that deeply impacted Siddhartha and asked him to question the nature of life and suffering. So I have one question. Could you sharing with us your which teachings of the Buddha that you are practicing, you are following now?
Thank you, Thiện for this question. My answer is practicing the Dharma in daily life means living with mindfulness, turning inward, doing good, avoiding harm, keeping the mind calm, and understand suffering, impermanent, and unself. Wherever I am, I do, and I try to live according to the Buddha teaching. Example, Noble Eightfold Path. In daily life, mean living with understanding, thinking rightly, speaking truthfully, doing good action, earning honestly, making effort, staying mindful, and keeping in my camp. Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Wonderful answer.
Thank you. Yeah. So,
Is it useful and suitable to you, Thiện hỏi?
Yeah, thanks so much for your sharing. Yeah, it's very
Okay.
useful for
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
good
you. Thank
questions.
you. Yeah.
Anything else? Any question else?
Um,
Yes, sir.
Good evening on Venerable and friend. I'm Thiện Châu. Thank you to the first group of Venerable and friend for your presentation on Prince Siddhartha who became Buddha Sakyamuni who conduct we are when following in his practice. May I ask a question?
Yes, please, sir.
How did Siddhartha's inner conflict between royal duty and spiritual aspiration shape this his decision to renounce worldly life?
Sorry, make your question clearer. Make it again, please.
How did Siddhartha's inner conflict between royal duty and spiritual aspiration shape his decision to renounce the worldly life.
Yeah. Is it hard question, right? So everyone can answer. There's a questions about the conflict between royal duty and um and how how conflict between royal duty and how renunciation of the Siddhartha. So everyone can answer these questions.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah.
Prince Siddhartha in a conflict between raw duty and ritual operation was a defining factor in his decision to renounce worldly life. As a prince, he was bound by social expectation to become breaking, serve his people, and knew how to rule only night. However, his accord without a sickness and death awakened a deeper awareness within him that no power or revelation could strike anyone from suffering. This relation speaks an interstructural on one side, there was familiar attachment, his love for his wife, Yasodhara, and his son Rahula, and the obligation to fulfill his role responsibility. On the other, there was a profound intention question. What is the true meaning of life if it ends inevitable suffering rather than suppress this conflict? Siddhartha chose to confess his renunciation was not an act of escape, but a response to an ethical and ritual calling. He understood that only believing behind the comfort of belief life could he fully dedicate himself to search for a path that ends suffering. Thus, his inner conflict become the very foundation of his compassion and wisdom. By giving personal comfort for the sake of a purpose, he demonstrated that true relationships is not about control, but about inner transformation, and that what eventually led him to enlightenment. Thank you for your listening.
You understand, sir? Master?
Yes, thank you. Your answers very clearly.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for your wonderful questions. And I have got a wonderful answer too. Ah. Mr. Hoàng.
You all have any questions?
Yes, hello there. I have some questions to ask, please.
Yes, keep going.
Hello, Venerables and everyone. Thank you for your presentation. That's great. I love listening to what you have presented, which is great. So part of your presentation, I have a few questions to ask. Basically, it's more relating to the life of many human beings. So, do you think many people today are practicing mindfulness effectively? Why do some succeed in practicing it very well, and why do others struggle? And what advice would you give to someone who is just beginning their journey into the teachings of the Buddha? Do you want me to repeat the questions?
Yes.
Okay, so the first question is?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Anyone can answer these questions? This question seems to be about nowadays everyone practicing like mindfulness and meditation, but something failed. Someone failed. Someone got have got a very good one, right? And we and you support us to give the advice, or you give some idea, right? Is it correct, your answer?
Yeah, so basically that's all my questions about.
Yeah. So everyone can answer.
I think you can listen yourself, observe your body and mind, and uh, uh, and keep the kind heart. Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Thank you. So that your answers is about giving advice on how people should practice mindfulness. But what about for those who are still so struggling with practicing mindfulness every day?
Yeah,
What's advice on that?
well, I
Okay,
think
we don't need to talk about those who do meditation, something like that, very successful and effectively. But what about those who are struggling on
so.
practicing
Yeah,
mindfulness?
I got it. I see. We have to learn, and we have to, we have to do. We have to study the way of the Buddha taught. Yes, and then we practice the way of his lesson. Um, in due to ignorance, that many people do not practice mindfulness effectively. This ignorance often arises from lack of power education in Dharma. I think so. Many struggle in mindfulness because ignorance, which often stems all from from lack of knowledge, and we have to understand what the Buddha teachings. First, we have to enjoy the Buddha teaching class from lower to higher level, and then you get experience from that, and then you will know why some people practice fail and others can pass. You got my point?
Yes, thank you. That's great answer.
Yeah, thank you. So I would like you to give us some feedback that that is useful to us, and then we can learn and we can get experience for the future. Answer.
Thank you again. Thank you for having me this time again. This is session 2. And I'm so honored to be the one who can share with you all about your presentation. So I got you guys some feedback. Um, excuse my excuse my way to talk to you guys. So
Yeah.
I have to say I did a fuck and before I start the feedback. But thank you. Your presentation is great. But first of all, I would like to talk about the general feedback. So if you all actually do this kind of presentation in front of a lot of people, like in the classroom or in front of students and teachers, professor,
Mhm.
the presentation slide should be professional.
Mhm.
So talking about that point, the slide design should be well designed.
Yes.
Okay, there are some improvements. So you can use consistent templates, apply the rule of thirds or less is more approach,
Uh-huh.
like not many texts or not many visuals. So you should keep the balance between text and visuals. And
Okay.
so there should be clear headers, okay? Should be a clear headers, balanced spacing, maximum 6 lines of text. Some slices have a lot of text and less visuals. And some other slides have a lot of visuals but less text. So keep that balance. And also, I believe that you all chose relevant visuals for the story that you presented. Also, the heavy text slides. Some slides, I think, had too much text, like I said.
Yes,
So
I
there is
see.
improvement. Replace text blocks with keywords, bullet points, icons, or images. Speak more and read less. I see some of you still, I guess, I don't know, because I don't see your face on the camera. So I assume that you guys still read the text when you present. So
Sure.
make sure that please do not that many times, otherwise it becomes a habit and it's very hard for you to change later. Also, group presentation transition is good. I have to give applause of that. Positive note. So the group transitions smoothly between presenter. So for example, after you finish and then you invite another member to come and present their part. Continue practicing hands-off and cues for smooth collaboration. That is the good point. And also, but sorry, for those good feedback, also there's something that you need to improve along the design, the visuals, the text. You guys lack of energy in presentation in general. Like you don't have so much energy, like not so much, but a little energy, I mean, in presentations, like presenters lack of energy and then engagement. You see during the Q&A section, um, you guys seem to be nervous and try to think about how to give the answer. Like when I ask the questions, please interact with me and talk with me. So after you give me the answer, you can say, are you happy with that answer? Or you have any other ideas to add on? Something like that. So then again, there should be engagement and interaction with your audience when they ask you question during the Q&A section. Right. That's all. Some improvement also along with that. Practice voice projection and positive body language. You can turn on your camera and then you can pose your body language and make eye contact or use hand gesture or smile. Imagine when you stand in front of many people and do your presentation, you should keep eye contact and use your body language as well. So you treat Q&A, question and answer section as a conversation, not a test. That's I have just mentioned, right? Please interact with your audience when they ask you answers. That's all. For individual feedback, I think similarly, you guys have same issue like unclear pronunciation, monotone voice. I mean, no intonation. Like you have to adjust your tone of voice during your presentation. Something like that. And also the straight word. When we talk about pronunciation, please pay attention to the straight words. So the word pronounced so S and Z in pronunciation is totally different. So I see some of you guys still mess up pronunciation, especially the ending sound. There's supposed to be not ending sound of the word, but you still add the ending sound in. So you can practice something like ice, eyes, peas, peas, buzz, buzz. That's different. So practice more so then you get used to it and it's become easier for you when you deliver pronunciation in your speech. So you can practice something like your tongue twister, like Sally sells seashells by the seashore. So s and sh, that's the different ones. So I hope that helps, and that's all from me today. Thank you.
Do you all have any feedback or suggestion for us?
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Thủy. Yeah, this is the first time I joined this session. That's so great for me to learn a lot from your uh, presentation. Thank you very much. But I have some question suggestion for the uh, for the 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 words that you use in your presentation. I think the Buddha, uh, the Buddha, the living of the world, the Buddha believe the world is the great renunciation. We should uh, uh, we should emphasize his renunciation of the world is the great renunciation because he was born as a human being, but he left everything he had, and he found he was seeking what he didn't know about us. So I think that's would make your presentation is uh, uh, more it's better than we use only the renunciation because I think it's in the law, it's in um, it's in uh um the very the it's in uh the it's not a person but a different a person, and in the end of each presentation, I think we should we should uh, we should give us from your experience how to apply that in our life, in our daily life. For example, for this based on the rate renunciation of the law, how can we apply it in our life? For example, I think it's difficult for me to uh, to uh, to forgive our habit, our own habit. For example, I refer to buy everything I like. Yeah, you see that I think we should have some conclusion how to apply in our life. Uh,
Yes, I got it. I got your question, and I got your main idea. And it seems to be you study at the same school with us, right?
yes, I just come just come this school. Yeah.
Okay. So send me the message me. I will answer you directly. Your question is so meaningful to us, and we have a long time to explain to you. Okay. So
Yeah.
after this presentation, I would like to see your message me, and I will invite you to enjoy to our group. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. 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 Keep going. Mr. Hoàng, keep going on.
And with that, we come to the end of today's presentation. Thank you, Group 1, for guiding us through the life of the Buddha from his birth and youth and his enlightenment and his lifelong teaching. You have allowed us to relive the sacred journey of our indefinitely compassionate and deeply revered spiritual father. We also deeply appreciate the insightful questions and contributions from others, and the presence of everyone who joined us today from around the world. May you all have a peaceful and restful night. We look forward to seeing you again in our next weekly session, same time next Saturday. Take care and good night, everyone. Namo Buddhaya.
Okay, hello, see you, bye, goodbye, everyone. Have a nice nightmare. Have a good night, everyone.